Hi everyone. In our last video, we learned how to filter data using our like clause, right? Using our where clause, our like clause, and using the wildcards, the percentage sign and the underscore sign. Yeah, all these are comparison operators, right? Yeah, so in this lesson, I'll show you three very important SQL operators that make filtering easier and cleaner. Right, and these operators include between, it also includes in, and also null. So for filtering data, we have so many operators we use. We use our logical and our conditional operators, right? So we've already known our conditional operators, and we know our logical operators now. Conditional operators are those greater than, less than, equals to, not greater than, not greater than, equals to, right? And our logical operators we learned and, in, or. So in this lesson, we're going to be learning another operator called between, in, and null. So let's go. We have our pgadmin open up already. So we are going to open our servers to query to, right? So we have our database. We're going to be using DVD rental. So right click on DVD rental and choose query to. We'll be starting with SQL between. So what between does is that it filters value within a range. So let's see what table we are going to be working with. So let's expand our tables, schemas, tables. Let's see our tables. So let's say we want to find customers. Let's open our customer table. Okay, let's do it this way. We want to find customer. Let me title this using the between clause. Right, so we want to first of all select everything. We want to see everything from our customer table, right? So let's run this. Let's see if we have an age column. Okay, let's scroll. Okay, we don't have age. Let's check our let's see our staff. Let's check our staff column. Let's see where we can use our between. So it's not important. Okay, we can use payments, right? We can use payments to get to find a range within so amount. Let's check our payments. So we have amounts. So let's say we want to find amounts between $5 and $7. We want to filter our data to see just amounts between $5 and $7. We don't have any business to do with the one that the amount that is $1, $2. We only want to see amounts from $5 to $7. So this is where to use your between. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we select. Okay, let's select everything again from payments. Where what? You're going to enter your filtering condition, your filtering clause. Where what? Where payments, right? Where amounts, rather. What's the name of the column? The column name is amounts. Where amounts between we're going to use let's use $5, 5, right? 5.99 and what? 7.99, right? So what this between does is that you're asking SQL, show me value that fall within this range, that fall within 5.99 and 7.99. You can use between for numbers, you can use between for dates, you can use between for amounts. All right. So this is an example. Show me payments or show me amounts between 5.99 and 7.99. All right. So how to enter this clause or this condition is by what? First of all, you enter your select. What do you want to select? What do you want to see? So I want to see all my columns. I use asterisk. Now, from what table do I want to get this information from? From the payments table, right? Now, what the next condition, the next clause to enter is what? Your filtering clause, which is your where clause. Where what amount? What I want to see, where I want to get a range within something is from the amount column, right? So I'm going to type where amount between 5.99 and 7.99. So let's semicolon, let's highlight to run it. Yes, so you can see only amounts showing, 5.99, 5.99, 7.99, 6.99. You're not going to see anything that is not within this range. Yes, you won't see anything that is not within this range. All right. So SQL interprets this as age, or rather as amount greater than 5.99. This is how SQL interprets this. Interprets it as amount greater than equals to 5.99 and amount less than equals to 7.99. So see, this is how SQL interprets this. So SQL is going to be showing you an amount that starts from 5.99 and above, right? And ends at 5.99. It won't show you an amount above 5.99. It will only show you an amount within this range, 5.99 and 7.99. So what between does is that is just a shortcut, you know. Is a shortcut. Between is a shortcut for filtering values within a range. So you want to filter values within a range, just know that the condition you're to use or the operator you are to use is between operator. All right. It has to do with the start and end of something. So you want to see within a range of something. You want to see from start to an end, right? So you use your between operator. So this is basically it about understanding your between operator, right? Between is inclusive, right? It from what we have here, it includes 5.99 and 7.99, right? So it's showing you range or it's showing you values within this range. All right. So we can't use between for text. No, we can't use between for text. We only use between for, for instance, dates. You want to see how your business is doing from so date to another date. So you use your between. You want to see for instance, you want to see employees, that were paid so amount to so amount, right? You use your between. Right. So that's about your between operator. So we are going to be moving forward to the in, SQL in operator. Okay, what this does is that it filters rows that match a list of values. It is used when you are one column against a list of values. That means you're like checking one column against a list of values, right? In is actually cleaner and easier to read. You want to, for instance, you have a column, right? And you in that column is a country column. You only want to see information from different states in that country column. You want to see just Lagos, Abuja, and Ibadan. This is where you can use your in. So what your in operator does is that it helps you to check one column against a list of values. All right. So let's go. Let's say select. We want to select everything. We are going to be using let's say our country, right? We have a country column here. Yes, we have a country column. So select everything from we want country. Let's see what we have in our country column. So let's highlight this. Let's run it. Right. So we can see different countries. We can see Afghanistan, Algeria, American, Angola. Now, if you want to see just few countries, you don't want to see all the countries in your country column. You only want to see, let's say you want to see Nigeria, you want to see Angola. You just want the information about a specific value. right? This is where you use your in operator. So let's go. So we are going to enter our where clause. Yeah, to use your in, you have to enter your where clause. Where is where was you're going to pick the column you want to see. So where country in, type your in, right? Where country in, you have to open brackets, right? Now, you want to, what countries do you want to see? You want to see, let's say Nigeria, but instead of you just typing out Nigeria, you have to type it in one quote, right? Yes, in Nigeria, comma, what other country do you want to see? Do you want to see Australia? So you type it in one quote, right? Australia. Remember I said in when you're typing text, you have to type it in quotes in your SQL. So you're going to type Australia. You want to see Australia country, right? So what other country do you want to see? Let's say we want to see South Africa in one quote, right? South Africa. Yeah. So let's run this command. Let's run it. Yes. So you only want to see some values, some specific values from a particular column. This is when to use your in. This is when to use your in operator, right? When using your in operator, it is clean and readable. So anybody seeing this now will know, okay, you only want to see Nigeria, Australia, and South Africa. It doesn't mean it's only Nigeria, Australia, and South Africa that is in that particular column. No, you have so many countries in the column, but you only want to see some specific countries alone. This is when to use your in. All right. You cannot use your in for repeated columns. For instance, you want to look for another column again, or rather you want to use in, you want to use country in, Australia country in, South Africa country in. It doesn't work that way. So when you're using in, you have to put the values you are looking for in a bracket, right? Yes, in is best for multiple operators. Yes, it's best for multiple values. So you want to see Nigeria, Australia, South Africa. This is the best way to. This is the exact option to use your in, right? Yes, it is easier to manage. When you're using your in, it is easier to manage. You can't be using, let me show you what I mean. You can't be using where you now come here and say where country again, in, you now type Australia. This is not how it's going to use your in operator. You now come down again and you now type country again, in, you now type let's say South Africa. You can't use this like this. You can't use your in operator like this. You can't use it to repeat your column name. In is best used this way, right? You can't be bringing in, calling out your country, anytime you want to look for a particular value. No, when to use in is you already have your values that you want to look out for, right? So you just type your where country in, then list the values you want to just see, list it out and close your brackets, right? You don't need to be entering country in Australia, country in South Africa, country in Nigeria. No, this is a total wrong way to go about it. This is a total wrong way to go about it. So let's try this. This is the wrong way to go about this. Semicolon. Let's run it. Yes, can you see? It is totally wrong. You cannot use in this kind of, you can't use in like this. So you have to enter just one column name once, right? Enter the column name once, comma. You have to take this, you can't be entering column names multiple times. No, you only enter your column name once and you put this in brackets open and brackets close. So run it now again and you see that it's right. Can you see now that it's right? Yes, so you have Australia, you have Nigeria, and there's no South Africa in this, there's no South Africa in our column. So we also have another operator called the OR operator. We have another operator called the OR operator. SQL, let me name this SQL or operator. Right. So when we use or rather we use or to compare one column to multiple conditions, right? Using or is just like the opposite of your in, right? Where you can say where country is equals to Nigeria, or where country is equals to Australia, or where country is equals to South Africa. This is when to use your in and your or rather. So your or what? Your or is used to compare one column to multiple conditions. You repeat the column names every time. But you see in your in, you cannot repeat the column name every time in your in. You only enter your column name once, right? But when you're using your or operator, you enter your column name every time. So let's go. Let's select everything from country, where what? Filtering clause is where. Always remember that. Where? Where country what is equals to. You're not using in now. You want to use your or operator. You're going to use where country is equals to. You type Nigeria in quotes, right? Nigeria. Now you want to see another country. You don't want to use your in operator, you want to use your or operator. So if you want to see more than one value in a particular column, if you are using your or operator, you have to enter your column name multiple times. So now we want to see another country called Australia. So you're going to type or country, is equals to, what's the name of the country you're looking for? You're looking for Australia. You come down again, you type your or. You want to go country with what again? Country with the name South Africa. So type South Africa. Did you get it now? Enter your semicolon to run this. So your or operator, you have to be typing your country names, or you have to be typing the column you want to sort out something from. You have to be typing it when you are using your or. But for your in, you don't need to do all of that. You don't need to be entering the column name when you want to use your in operator. Do you get it now? So when to use in is when you're checking just one column against a list of values, right? It is cleaner and easier to read. Do you get? But your or is messy when many values are involved. So let's say you are looking for Nigeria, Australia, South Africa, Canada, America, UK, Los Angeles. You're looking for so many items. It becomes messy, right? Because it has so many values involved, right? So I prefer using in. In is readable. Do you get it? I don't need to be entering my column names all the time. I'll just enter where country in and just list out all the names of the values that I want to see. Do you get? So your or operator repeats your column names and your in doesn't. Your in doesn't repeat column names. Look at our in here. It doesn't repeat column names, but your or does. You need to be repeating your column names when you want to use your or operator. When to use your or, just know that it is best to use your or operator for few conditions. Let's say you just have 1 to 2 conditions. It's best to use your or operator. Alright? But for your in operator is best for multiple values. When you have more than 2 values, it is best that you use your in operator. Alright? Why I don't so much like using or is because it is hard to manage when I have so many values I am looking for. It is hard to manage. But in is easy to manage. If I have more than 10 values I'm looking for, my in is easy to manage. What if you have a column called employee column, and your manager wants to see about 5 names of staff, right? So you don't have to use your in, because when you're writing your query and your manager sees or reads that query, your manager easily understands, okay, yeah, you actually got these names between, from these values, not between, rather, you got the names by using in, because I asked you to look for total names for me and you used in. You get? But when you're using Or is it's messy when you're using it for more than 5 values or more than 2 values. It's messy. It's really messy, but your in is easier to manage. All right. So the real benefit of your in operator is clarity and not speed. All right. Please do not use in operator when condition involves different column. No, 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 no. When conditions was involve different column. So let's say we are looking for country in Nigeria and we are looking for let's say age, or let's see our everything in our column name again. Now in our country column, let's see everything in our country column. So we have, okay, and let's say we are looking for country ID. We are looking for an ID number at the same and at the same time we are looking for country name. You cannot use in for two different column names. So you can only use in for one column alone, please. But you can use all. You can use all for multiple columns. Do you get? So let's say for instance now we want to see another column, right? We want to see country, not country. The name of the column we want to see is country ID. Okay, country underscore ID. We want to see ID. Okay, we have to enter our or condition. Or country ID, we want 2. Let's say 2. We want 8. We want 9. Right? This is when to use your or. You cannot use country in Nigeria, Australia, South Africa and use in 289. You have to use your or. Do you get? If you're writing or more than twice for the same column, stop and use in, right? But when you want to use different columns, you want to get an information from two different columns, use your or. Do you get it now? This is what I mean. So what's the next one? The next one is null. When to use your null operator. What your null means is missing value. Null is any value unknown. Null is not zero. When you have zero in a particular row or in a cell, please, that is not null, right? Null is when there is nothing in a particular, there's a missing value in a particular cell. That is what null is. Null means an unknown value. So let's run null. Let's run null operator. Null operator. Right. So null means when value is missing, when a value is unknown, all right, when a value has not been provided. Please, your null does not mean zero. If you see zero in any of your rows, it does not mean that particular row is empty. No. If you see false in a cell or in a row, it does not mean it is null. Please, your null only means missing. It only means unknown. It only means when a value has not been provided. All right? Think of null as we don't know this information yet. Do you get? Null is not a value, but it is an absence of a value. And when you're using null, you can't use equals to null like this. You can't use equals to null. No. SQL does not understand this. To use null, we use is null. This is what SQL understands. Do you get? So for instance, you want to find a particular column with empty cells. Do you get? You use what is null. You want to find any cell that is empty, that does not have any value in it. You use is null and not equals to null. You can't use equals to null, please. What SQL is basically saying is something equals to nothing. Do you get? That's what this is null means. Is something equals to nothing? The answer is unknown, right? So SQL gives us a special operator to check for missing values. to check for missing data, and it is what is null. What it means is that show me a row where it could be phone number, it could be amount, it could be salary. Show me a row when, for instance, somebody's salary is missing. Do you get? So let's see one of our columns. Let's start. Select everything from, let's say we want to use country. No, not country. Let's say we want to use, do we have a customer column? Okay, we only have actor. So let's see actor table. Let's see all the columns from our actor table. Okay. So last update. So let's say we want to see last update null, or let's say you want to see first name empty. Do you get? You want to, when to use is null, you want to find out if there's any missing cell. So we usually use is null, is not null in SQL when we want to filter missing values. So if you want to see if your particular column has empty cells in it, you want to find out if there are any missing values in the column, please the option to use is your is null. All right, so let's go. Select everything from, we want to use from our actor table, where first name, right, first underscore name is null. This is how to run this operator. We want to see an empty cell, so we don't have any first name empty. So how about last name? So let's check last name, last underscore name. Let's check last name. We want to find out missing values. Remember, as an analyst, you need to check, observe your column, right? So this is how to observe for missing values. This is how to observe for empty cells in your columns, in your data, by using is null. If you want to find out if there are any missing values in your data, please use is null, and don't use equals to null. It doesn't work. SQL doesn't understand equals to null. What you understand is null. Do you get? So there's no missing cell, there's no missing row in this particular table or in this particular column, right? So we also have is not null. So if you want to see only items that have their cells, that have items in their cells, you use what is not null. You don't want to, maybe you have missing data in your table, right? But you don't want to have any business to do with empty cells. You just want to see the tables or the columns that have data in it. So you're going to use is not null. Is not null is used when you only want to see only completed records. For instance, you want to see orders with delivery dates. For instance, you want to see employee with salary field. For instance, you want to see customer who provided email. So you use what is not null. All right. So let's go. Let's select everything first. Select everything from, let's say we want to see, we want to also use after table. Okay, let's check city. Let's see what we have in our city table. Okay, so we have city ID, country ID. So let's observe our table. I doubt there is empty cell here. But if you want to see only informations that do not have empty cells in it, so this is the syntax. Select everything from city, from your city table where city is not null, semicolon to run it. You only want to see the table, a completed table. So this is how to run that syntax. All right. Please, is not null is not, if you cannot enter is not null. You can't be entering your equals to sign. No. All right, so I think we should answer some questions now. Okay, so we have some questions I would like us to answer, right? Retrieve themes with ratings in PG, in PG, in PG 13 and in G. So I want us to retrieve themes ratings with this, right? Yeah. So I also want us to find customers with customer ID in 1, 5, 10, 15, right? And I also want us to show themes whose language ID is not in 1 and 2. Using our DVD renter on our PG admin 4, please, right? And I also want us to find out to retrieve payments made by staff ID in 1 and 2. Yeah, this is using your in condition, your in operator. So I also want you to try using null. Okay, so retrieve customers whose email is null, and also find customers whose email is not null. Show themes where original underscore language is null. Okay. Yes, I want us to, and this is the final question. Find themes whose length is greater than 100 and titles contains the letter A. I'd like you to try this. Okay. Please drop your answers to the question in the comments. Okay. Yeah, you can drop your answers to the question in the comments. If this lesson helped you, please like and subscribe. Next week, I'll show you how to sort and limit results using order by and limits. Yeah. So have a sort time. Bye.